Hey there guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome if it's your first time. In this video, I'm reviewing the Zhulinniao QingLuan Z4. I'm pretty certain I butchered that name, but anyway, we're going to look at this budget Chi-Fi IEM. Let's get it. What's cracking, audio fans? It's David here from Prime Audio Reviews. So the QingLuan Z4, this little guy is coming in at just $45. Wait, let me check. I have to check. Yeah, it's just $45. It comes in a massive box. I'm not really a fan of massive boxes, but this one kind of makes sense because you do get some pretty good accessories, including a very good selection of various ear tips, and I really love the look of these ones. I wish I could use those, but they are definitely too small for my ears. But yeah, 12 different ear tips in 3 different styles. You get a carrying case. There are 2 tuning filters. We'll get into that a little bit later, just a little bit. Internally, we're looking at a single 10mm dynamic driver. So let's move the box aside and pull in the IEMs. There they are. They have a definitely unique design and aesthetic to them. They have a bit of a heft to them as well, because these shells are zinc alloy rather than the aluminium alloy, which is more commonplace in Chi-Fi. And supposedly the reason for that is because that provides a more stable, rigid housing, which is better for sound reproduction. But that's what they look like, inspired by chinoiserie, which, to put it in layman's terms, or my terms at least, it's a blend of Chinese and European styling. So you can see, well, I don't know if you can, but yeah, they do have a really lovely aesthetic to them, nice design, kind of got this frosted finish on them, except for that one polished bit there. Anyway, I find them comfortable. The nozzles are a little bit short though, so I use larger ear tips and a shallow insertion. If you use small ear tips and a deep insertion, you might find that troublesome, but for me, I find these comfortable. No worries, no issues with comfort whatsoever. Now let's have a look at the cable. It's silver plated copper. It is pretty nice actually, considering yeah, $45 IEM. It's pretty good. But I don't want to dwell on the cable. I want to get into talking about how these sound. So $45 budget, single dynamic driver, and I would say the word that comes to mind is bright. So look, there are 2 main characteristics that shape the Z4's sound. One is a neutral bass and neutral mid-range with an upper mid-range lift. Well, that's kind of 3 things. But the result is a detailed and transparent but bright sound signature with extreme clarity. Now, this tuning is not for everyone. In fact, you pretty likely have to be a treble head or a fan of bright sound signatures to appreciate the Z4. It's too bright for my personal preference, yet I can't help but admire its qualities. We'll throw up the graph there, and there you can see it, and it looks a little bit similar to something like the HZ Sound. What was it called? I can't remember. Leave it in the comments if you know what I'm talking about. It reminds me of that one, which was also sub 100, but I think a little bit more expensive than this. Anyway, let's move on and talk about the bass. Now, the Z4's bass is the epitome of tight. It is about as linear as bass gets, so bass heads should steer well clear of this one. You won't enjoy it. However, if you are a fan of controlled, well-defined and fast-paced bass, you'll find exactly that here. And despite its leanness and despite the low quantity of the bass extension is actually quite impressive. To be clear, it will not rattle your skull, but the bass does have a satisfying depth and reach to it. The mid bass is focused and precise. There's definitely no bleeding into the mid range. And segging onto the mid range, look, one, you can immediately discern a mid-range that embodies neutrality in its purest form. Instruments and vocals are presented with remarkable transparency, allowing every subtle nuance and timbral detail to shine through with pristine, I should say, clarity. And the mid-range stands, look, it delivers a revealing and a really pure sound. However, a slight touch more warmth in the mid-range would be beneficial to enhance its naturalness. So it's not entirely natural. It does have very good timbre, but it could just use a little more warmth to give it a more organic feel. Moreover, certain types of music, especially ones with aggressive electric guitars, can be quite fatiguing. Then into the treble, and look, an advantage of maintaining a nice neutral bass and a neutral mid-range configuration is the capacity to accentuate treble notes without pushing them really forward, without resorting to excessive sharpness or sacrificing the integrity of the overall timbre. And in the case of the Z4, the treble exhibits remarkable clarity, just like the mid-range, characterized by a crisp and an airy sheen. It is a really nicely done treble, however it is quite forward, not so much due to the forwardness of the treble itself, but to the pulled back nature of the mids and the bass. And finally, in terms of soundstage and technicalities, the QingLuan Z4's soundstage is slightly larger than average with added height. So there's pretty good height within the soundstage. It has good note density and a small or a lean note size, which facilitates an organized soundstage. Detail retrieval is above average, as you would expect for this kind of sound signature, and the imaging is pretty on point, making it easy to place individual sounds in the perceived sound stage or perceived space. So at the end of the day, what do I really think about the Zhulinniao, I know I'm butchering the name, Zhulinniao QingLuan Z4? Well, fantastic build. Like I said, the sound signature is not going to be for everybody. It is quite bright. It is too bright for me. I don't think I could use this as a daily driver because I listen to quite a bit of rock and progressive rock, post-rock, etc., and electric guitars can be quite grating on these. However, for things like electronic music, jazz, hip-hop, certain genres like that, I have had some really good experiences with these. I love the quality of the bass despite there being so little of it in terms of quantity, but I do like the reach and the authority that the bass has. And overall, considering what you get in the package, the build and the sound, I think these are pretty darn good for $45. Once more, just so you don't miss out, only for treble lovers or people who like a bright sound signature. With that said, I'm going to wrap it up there. Thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, Parfam Audiophile style. If you're new here, I would love it if you hit that subscribe button before you go. And until next time, I'll see you later.